Yesterday on my Instagram, I put up a Q&A and we got a lot of responses. And today, we're going to delve into all of these. And I'm just going to work from the top down until it takes us to finish them off. The first question here is, my gym has med balls, but all the walls are dry walls. Here's a learn the hard way. Well, not ideal. Breaking walls in the gym. You hate the gym owner having to pay for that. But what I do for my rotational power work is, if you don't have a wall to throw med balls into, use bands and cables for like rotational power-based stuff. That's the best way to go about it. And then you can still do med ball exercises where you're like slamming into the ground. Think of like a windmill, or any exercise that's a windmill slam, or a med ball slam, where it's probably going to be more overhead and you're slamming that thing into the ground. So that's the first thing I'll do with that. I get questions a lot, like how fast should I be bowling at 15, or is 93 Ks now good for a 13-year-old or whatever? Like, look, these questions are like impossible to answer. Like, I got no idea, mate. Like, no one should be bowling any pace. Like, it's not a necessity to, like, it's not like it's drinking water. You know what I mean? Like, everyone should be drinking water. Everyone should be sleeping every single night. Everyone should be eating food, but paces for certain age group, geez, it's hard to say, isn't it? Like, I'd say in Australia, like an under 15s national carnival fast bowler will be bowling 115, 120, I don't know, somewhere like that, I suppose. But yeah, impossible to say. Do isometrics under a barbell stunt growth as a 15-year-old? No, absolutely not. They definitely will not. If you're short, it's not because you've been lifting weights. You can blame your parents for being short. You got bad genetics, unfortunately. Shout out to all those short kings out there. Good for batters, but so you take that. How many days of gym should I be doing, and what should I be doing each day? Great question. So I think I've made a couple of Instagram videos about this, but there's two like training splits for cricketers that I firmly think that's what it should be. It's a full body training split where we're training every muscle group, upper body, lower body, etc. That is if you're going to the gym 2 or 3 times per week. And then if you're going to the gym 4 times per week, an upper lower training split, I feel like is most beneficial. I think like in season 2 to 3 gyms per week is good. Off season 3 to 4 is probably what I'd be recommending with that, because you've got to balance everything else around that too. Which university is the best strength and conditioning for university masters in Australia? Now, I have got no idea exactly. I've never done a S&C masters, but I do know that Deakin, where I went, shout out to Big Deakin, is a number 1 sports science school, I think, in the world, something like that. I don't know, but I think they're all pretty decent and good. And university is so overrated when it comes to becoming a strength and conditioning coach. I think you do need like a prerequisite, like you need to go to uni, but what uni you go to doesn't matter too much. The concepts and the stuff will be the same, and the content probably sucks at uni. Like, it's good for learning your like anatomy and motor learning and then the theory, but when it comes to practical stuff, like you learn so much more from interning and coaching yourself and getting experience. Like from my uni days, God, I'm glad I did like the anatomy and that, like that helped heaps. But like from my coaching accelerated when I started interning at like Cricket Victoria or the VIS, or I started working myself. So all those things, like all the experiences, are way more beneficial. So what I'd say is, what I did is I just scraped through and passed uni, 50-60%, put in as least amount of time possible so I could spend more time gaining experience in the real world. That's how I balanced it, and I'm very, very happy with what I did with that, to be honest. I think I've got a lot of common sense and coaching sense, and I've got a lot of experience, and I can, get people better. where some people might be really, really book smart and book smarter than me, but I don't think they can get the results because they haven't done it. And theory and real life is so different. When I'm bowling, sometimes I don't feel rhythm and I think my action is not good. So, first thing there, let's not use labels for your action. I'm reading a book at the moment called The Inner Game of Tennis by Tim Galway. Great book, gun book. And talks about don't label things good or bad. Just observe them for what they are without judgment. So what part of your action is falling apart? Is it your, obviously you said, is it your run up? Is it your jump, back foot contact? Is it your alignment? What is it? I think be specific. Don't just when you bowl a bad ball or something, or it doesn't feel right, don't just go, oh, damn, that's shit ball. No, that's being a kid, throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Take a breath and just observe what happened without judgment. Okay, I noticed that I was landing a bit heavy in my run-up, or I noticed that I was falling away in my action. Or I noticed I'm not really following through that much at the moment. That is so much more beneficial to you than just going, oh, I'm bowling shit today. Oh, God. Oh, I've got no rhythm. You know what I mean? That's too broad. Be a specific problem solver. Next one. I am 22 years old. I want to be a professional cricketer. This is possible. All right. Let's have a Google. Is there any professional cricketers over the age of 22 in the world? Yep. Sweet. So, yeah, you can. Nah, but not being too much of a smart ass, but what kind of question is that? Come on. Best training program during the season. All right. I'll have a drink of water. I'll get stuck in this one. In season. Let's say you train Tuesday, Thursday, play Saturday. The ultimate best way, I feel would be, so let's say I'm a professional, working with professional cricketer. They'll sprint, bowl, do gym on the same day. Let's call it Tuesday and Thursday. That's their high load day. Thursday is another high load day. Saturday is a high load day. So 3 high load days. And then what I'll do some low intensity conditioning, whether it's on the bike or a jog walk on a Monday probably, or a Wednesday. And then obviously your batting and your stationary fielding in there around that as well. But yeah, 2 gyms, some top up conditioning in there. You want to try and bank high days. So I think high stress days are days where you're doing bowling, sprinting, gym, hard running, hard interval conditioning. And low days are things like upper body weights, mobility, bike sessions, swim sessions, stationary fielding, batting. So don't think about your training week as in muscle parts training. Think about them as high load and low load days. How much overs should I bowl in a week? Now, that is an absolute great question. So, it depends on how old you are. It really does depend on how old you are. There is, and it depends on what level you're playing at too. So, obviously, if you're playing test cricket, you're going to be bowling a fair bit. But what I recommend, in terms of a bowling workload plan, is something for a 13-year-old, you want to be bowling, 10 to 12 overs a week. 15-year-old, 12 to 16 overs in a week. 17-year-old, 16 to 20 overs in a week. And then under 19s to seniors, an 18 to 24 overs in a week. Things like that. I think that's a nice way to think about it. And you want to build up to that gradually, through your pre-season. But once you're in season, try and stay nice and consistent around that sort of bracket for workloads. Advice on balancing gym and resting for game days. I think this ties into my last one. Those high load and low load training days where you're trying to do all your training or a lot of training on one day, followed by a day of rest and recovery, and then try and do it on that day. So whether it's like you might want to lift weights in the morning before work or school, then then bowl and do cricket training at night. They might be a little bit fatigued. That's a better way. So then you get Wednesday off to rest and recover. Then bang, rinse and repeat Thursday and go again. I think that's a nice way to break it up. And I think it's the best way to balance workload, to be honest. I've been doing gym for 3 months and my bowling drills are... Okay, wow. I'm doing gym for 3 months and I haven't been getting the results that I want just yet. I think when it comes to the gym, like, it's not a 3-month thing. It's a 5, 8, 10-year thing to truly get those serious, crazy results. Now, can we make significant, great progress in, a 12, 16-week off-season? 100%. And like a lot of my clients have got some great results so far. And if you are interested in joining my coaching, there is links down below to get some of these awesome results that we have been getting. It's been so good, but where, the results start to compound is that you bank one elite off season and then you don't stop it in the season. When people get great results in the off season, they stop their gym in the season. You're like, oh my God, what are you doing? And then they have to start pretty much again by next off season. That's where you'd stop getting those crazy results. If you keep going during the season, you're starting at a high level, and then you get that off season to then build on top of that. But if you're always stopping your gym in the season, then you're just always going back to square one. You're never going to get the results that you want. It's the biggest frustration of mine. And I think people don't know how to balance gym properly in the season. That's probably why they avoid it. Like, if you can't do it properly, then they avoid it. Which is why it's like people, in the off season will come to me for the gym stuff and that. But I would almost argue that in season is almost more important because it's harder to manage. Like in the off season when you're not doing anything else, it doesn't really, like, you do heaps of gym and it doesn't really matter. But in season you need to do the right amounts, and I think that's where getting professional help like me. So once again, links down below if you do need that help come in the season. What is my favourite food? Oh, great question. A good steak. Last week, I had one of the best steaks of my life. Me, Cam McClure, Victorian fast bowler, Tommy Dighton, St Kilda Cricket Club, treated ourselves with a bit of entrecote, and I'll tell you what, one of the best steaks, probably the best steak I've ever had. The sauce was unbelievable. They cooked it to perfection. Used a butter knife to cut it. It just was unbelievable. Oh. A good steak. I'm a big chocolate man too. Like, if I was saying to my mates before, like, chocolate didn't have any calories. If chocolate, if you could eat anything in the world, chocolate and steak every single day, fill your boots. Fill your bloody boots. If steak was cheaper too. But treating yourself to a nice steak is one of my favourite things to do in the whole entire world. Steak and a red. Oh, yeah, we paired it with a nice French wine. Oh, sensational. Oh, so good. Tell me 2 exercises for batters. Righto, mate. Nice manners. Squats and trap bar deadlifts. Bang. Tips for consistent length. I think stop overthinking it. Stop thinking about bowling the perfect ball and just getting good rhythm. So focus on being nice and relaxed, making sure that you're nice and aligned with your run up. You've got a nice, smooth, effortless run up that goes into a nice, consistent action where you can, replicate the feeling and whip and snap to your action. That's the key. I think if we're thinking about things too much, then you will become an overthinker. Self-doubt starts to creep in and you don't get the results that you want. Whereas if you just almost block out the noise, tell yourself to relax, refocus, and calm, get yourself in a good mental state before every single ball with a nice, really good action, then that sets you up to success and be really consistent. I think with consistency, I talked about in a podcast as well that everything has to be consistent in your life to be consistent. You need consistent nutrition, you need consistent training habits, the way how you plan and reflect and review training, consistent gym, consistent fitness routines, consistent sleep. All this helps you get consistent line and length. Is 3 days bowling and 3 days plyometrics and gym running okay? Yeah, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect, I reckon. That's a nice balance. Happy as with that. In gym, should we focus on heavy weight, less reps, or lightweight, more reps? Specifically for upper body. So, I personally think that we should focus more on heavy weight, less reps, especially for our compound main exercises, because that's where we're going to get the benefits out of getting stronger, etc. Cricketers, we don't really want to put on too much muscle, so doing heavy weights, less reps is more of a strength sort of focus without packing on the extra muscle. Not to say that doing some high rep work is bad at all. The answer is always a bit of both, but I would probably go 70% of the training I do is lower reps, 30% high reps. Upper body wise, if you want to get a big upper body, big chest, which I do a bit of both. So train your 6 to 8 rep ranges and your 8 to 12s as well. Next question is hypertrophy bad for cricketers? So yeah, great question. Yes and no. So the dose is the poison. So if you're stupidly massive as a fast bowler, if you're hench bodybuilder stuff, then yeah, that's not ideal physique at all. Oh, excuse me. Big day. It's my 4th video I've recorded today. But if you're a batter for power hitting, hypertrophy is actually quite beneficial. So for batters, no. Bowlers, maybe a little bit too much. About finding that right balance. But typically, being a non-contact sport, cricket, we're trying to maximise our power to weight ratio. So if we can be lighter but powerful and stronger, that's the way to go. How to be mentally super strong. Wow, I think, to be fair, I've done a podcast on this 2 podcasts ago. Have a look at the mental strength, or, I'll find the name of it right now for you. But yeah, it's I have done a full podcast on this, but essentially mental strength is being able to focus on the right thing at the right time and not allowing external noise to take over and you believe the negative thoughts. So the podcast is How to Be a Mentally Tough Cricketer, my 47 episode. I would just recommend go and listen to that. But focusing on the right things at the right time, not accepting thoughts but not believing them. So if you say, oh geez, I'm the worst player ever, you can have that thought, but don't believe it. And then redirect your focus towards the things that matter, the things that you need to actually properly focus on. A hybrid athlete who is a cricketer, what training routine do you suggest? The old hybrid athlete, eh? So you're running, doing gym, and playing cricket. So just like pretty much any other cricketer, I would say. But let's say you're off season, do your more intense, shorter duration work at the start. So a lot of heavier gym stuff, faster interval running at the start of the week, and then at the end of the week, do more your longer, slower aerobic stuff. And maybe your easier lower body gyms and that. So yeah, start high intensity, low volume at the start of the week, and then go low intensity, more volume at the end of the week. It's a nice way to think about that. Oh, an underrated bowler in world cricket. It's got to be. Oh God, Scott Boland. Is he underrated? 100% he is. Scott Boland's an absolute jet. Now, I might be a little bit biased, knowing Scotty personally, but that man, what is Scotty Boland's test record. It's actually stupid.
There's a pretty good argument that when Scotty Boland plays Test match cricket, he's better than the big three. Like, what's this man's stats? ESPN Cricket Info come in clutch for me. 13 tests, 56 wickets at 17. That is like worldy stuff. And I hope he gets a test in the West Indies because he deserves it. And he's an absolute weapon and he's a great man too. One of the nicest people in the world. Okay, let's move on to the next one here. Thoughts on creatine for a 16-year-old fast bowler? All for it. I think creatine is one of the most research-backed supplements, and it's just proven to pretty much help with like everything, like power, endurance, cognitive function, and it's completely safe as well. So I'm all for going for creatine. Absolutely all for it, to be honest. Noah Langan clubs them. Absolutely does. One of my favorite clients. Absolute legends. I'm 18. My speed's 122 to 124 k's an hour. I never train in the gym. I click. Can I get to 145? Yeah, my height is 6'4". Look, without seeing your bowl or knowing your habits or knowing anything about you, getting to 145 is pretty bloody tough. Could you get up to 135? Yeah, but geez, I would bet. Like, if it was a betting game, I would bet against the 150. I'll bet against the 145 because I like my money. But it doesn't mean that it can't happen. But I do just think that's very, very that's pretty hard. I'll put that in almost in the too hard basket in the 145 if you're not at 130, 135 already at at 18. I reckon that's gonna be a tough one. Where are we here? What is the best workout routine for a top order batter? This is the system and structure I use for my gym programming. So, at the start, you'll do your power and plyometrics. You'll do one plyometric based option, one jump for raw power, and one rotational med ball exercise. You'll then go and do your main lower body strength exercise. Let's say it's a squat. You'll then do your secondary lower body exercise. That will be a hip hinge variation, but maybe a single leg varieties like a landmine RDL. Then you'll do an upper body push and pull. Let's call it a landmine press and a row. Then some accessories. Maybe it's some core, shoulder, calf to finish off. Is playing two sports, cricket and volleyball, okay at the age of 16? It is what I recommend. That is so good. Kids need to play a lot of sports. Play more sports. All for it. There's so much good research out there that people who early specialize do not get the results that people who play multiple different sports. It just creates a better, well-rounded, diverse athlete. How to start a season with bowling when I'm not bowling enough in the off season, not doing much gym. So I think workloads. I usually start bowling workloads at 18 balls or 24 balls at 60%, and then increase by 10 to 20% every single week from that. You can use ChatGPT to, all right, I bowled 2 sessions at 24 balls at 60%, increase that by 20% next week or 10% next week. And you can figure that out for yourself. Or I do have a workloads guide. If you go on my Instagram and comment the word workloads on any post, I'll send you the link. As a 70-year-old, 70-year-old grass. As a 70-mile-an-hour medium fast bowler, what are the things to improve? How to become an 80-mile-an-hour fast bowler? Great question. So, I'm going to use this to plug my coaching. So if you have interested in being coached by me, there's a link down below. I've literally just made a YouTube video about it today and what I did to help one of my clients go from about 120 to 130 k's an hour after a stress fracture. And there's a couple of things. Bowling technique is something that we worked on. We worked on his lifestyle, nutrition, sleep, all that sort of stuff. Gym program, running mechanics, what sort of running he did, how much running volume he did. We improved his 2K time trial from a 10 minutes to a 7:20. So these things, all these things come into play when it comes to that. Best workout meal, or best post-workout meal. Ooh. High protein, high carbs. After a game or something like that, or after a training, what do I like going to? Oh, like a Rockaby Farms milk is a nice little snack to go bang down the hatch. But then after that, oh, what could I go to? There's fairly good options, to be honest. Oh, for me, I usually will run in the morning, let's say, and then I'll come home and I'll have overnight Weet-Bix. Weet-Bix, yogurt, and fruit. I do love that every morning. I do really enjoy that. Well, we got a lot more questions to go here. Let's speed through these couple. So, how does the week look like for the life of the elite batting all-rounder? As I mentioned before, bat bowl, gym, field, run Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then any accessory stuff on those low days. Okay, there you go. That's this next one. What can spinners do to improve their game in the gym? Same structure as batters. Power plyometrics at the start, strength work in the middle, accessories at the end. Don't need to get overly too complex. We'll do a lot of rotational work and work on getting over your front leg through ankle stiffness, but if you're just starting out, follow that structure there. Should I ice or heat for DOMs? Definitely heat. For DOMs, I think ice baths. A little bit overrated, I reckon. A little bit overrated. I am more of a heat man when it comes to this. I'm rather a hot bath. I'm more comfortable as well. Top recovery methods: sleep, nutrition, stress management, workload management. Those are the big rocks. Yeah, nutrition, hydration. Those are the big rocks of it. Sleep 8 hours. Okay, number one, don't do too much in the first place. So workload management. Number two, sleep 8 hours. Number three, eat good whole foods and drink plenty of water. Manage your stress. So don't be hyper stressed all the time and find ways to switch off and relax. And go for some light aerobic activities. Get the blood flow going. Go for a walk, swim, bike, etc. Alrighty. I'm going to finish out on one more. Sprinting weekly 2 days and doing gym 3 days, can that help make my run up faster? Absolutely. I recommend doing some sort of sprints twice a week, gym 3 times per week. That's absolutely perfect. All right. That is us done and dusted for today's Q&A. I'll put up another Q&A in Instagram sometime next week. I'll do some of those on Instagram, some of those on here. But yeah, really looking forward to that. Once again, if you're interested in getting coached by me, then I do have links down below. I also have a free 10-week running program down below as well if you want to check that out. But thank you for listening, guys. I'll see you guys next week.